I feel like I need to share my testimony because I am a Christian and I am a lesbian. A gold star lesbian at that. I've never had sex with a man. So, never wanted to my whole life. So, basically, I was younger. I realized I was gay. I dated guys, never wanted to have sex. Always said I was waiting until I was married. But that wasn't it. Then I ended up joining the military and saying like, okay, I'm gonna join for 4 years because Don't Ask, Don't Tell was still in effect. And I was like, I'm just gonna pretend to be straight, get through the 4 years, get out, go back to California and, live my life as a gay person. So while in the military, and I turned away from God for a while. Like he was still there, kept him in my back pocket, but like I just wasn't as close to him as I used to be when I was, younger, before I found out I was gay, because I didn't want to serve a God that didn't love me because of who I was and me being gay. So I joined the military, but Sundays were the only days that we got a break while we were in church, and it was like the happiest time in boot camp was church. Like it was just the, best time. So I would go every Sunday, and I just, fell in love with God again, and got baptized. And then just kind of like after graduating and stuff, went back into drinking and my friends and all that, and was trying to date a guy and didn't work out, didn't want to be with him. He got mad that I didn't like him, but I'm gay. So that didn't work out. And I just started partying and drinking and turned away from God again and wasn't going to church while in the military, was doing my own thing. Very young, very dumb. Then I got out and a lot happened, and I just went back to Cali, went to Pride all the time and all that. Drank, partied, did the whole thing. And then I met this girl, and we've been together for like 5, almost 6 years now. And anyway, we moved in together, and she ended up breaking up with me. She was unhappy out of nowhere. I just didn't understand. But I was not. Anyway, so yeah, she broke up with me. And I was supposed to get a job soon. I just graduated from from college, and then my coding thing. So yeah, I'm not good at talking. I'm sorry, I'm not good, especially on the camera. She broke up with me right before my birthday. I was devastated. I was supposed to get a job, a coding job, a very good paying coding job, so I could like move out and everything. And that same week, I ended up not getting the job. And I immediately, God's always been in my life, always. He's always answered my prayers except the gay one. I asked not to be gay for the longest time, and he did not answer that one. I've been gay. He's not answered that one. I still, wait for him to answer that one, but he doesn't. Yes. So I turned to God, and I'm like, what is happening? Why is my whole life, like I thought everything was set, why is my whole life falling apart? And I dropped to my knees in the bathroom, bawling my eyes out, asking God for help. And this peace that passes all understanding just washes over me. Just washes over. I thought my life was like over. I was just so depressed and sad. And this peace that passes all understanding, while I'm listening to The Battle Belongs to You, dropping to my knees and everything, he just washes over me with this peace. And he tells me it's all going to be okay. And he tells me what I'm doing wrong. He tells me how I'm not appreciating my girlfriend. Which I believe that he sent me her because I've prayed for exactly her. And, but I wasn't appreciating her. I was watching porn. I was just not really appreciating her at all. And, yeah, sinning a lot. So yeah, the enemy got in. He told me that I needed to stop watching porn. He told me I needed to stop, everything I was doing. And I listened, and he told me that she would come back. She did. She came back after my birthday. We got back together, and it's been amazing ever since. I've appreciated her more. I've helped around the house and like spoke her love language, like all this stuff that I was told that I wasn't doing, And yeah, we've been together. We got a house. Oh, and then so I prayed because like started getting very close to him after that, right? I just started reading my Bible every day, just meditating on the Word, spending time with him in my prayer closet, just always being with him, thinking about him. I just completely fell in love with him again. And I started feeling the Holy Spirit. And he was speaking to me a lot, and I started learning about how he speaks to us. And he told me to get baptized. Well, at first he told me to go to church, right? So I started going to a church. He told me to start serving at the church. And I was like, I'm gay. How am I supposed to serve at the church? But I put in for it, and they asked me to start working the music, like the lyrics on the screen. And I was like, okay, I love lyrics. That's amazing. So I kind of felt like this was meant for me. And then the first service that I ever did was all about how important the music is. And I just knew, like, he was telling me, like, this is where I want you. So I serve at the church and I do the lyrics for them. And then he told me, and then they were doing baptism, he told me to get baptized. Then the next service that they showed that they're going to do a baptism, and I was like, whoa, okay, so he's definitely telling me to get baptized. I started feeling the Holy Spirit. Like I start like, whenever I'm like in deep prayer and stuff, I start like, I'll shake or I'll sway and stuff. Like I can physically feel the Holy Spirit when it's strong, like when I'm watching a video of someone speaking, or I'm just in deep prayer. Like I'm shaking right now because I know he wants me to do this. I just, I can feel him. And I started feeling him before I got baptized. I didn't really know what it was. I just knew it happened every time I started like praying and meditating on the word and praying to him. And so, yeah, so then I got baptized. After getting baptized, I was just on fire for God. I've been on fire for God. I think about him all day. I just fell madly in love with him. Madly in love with Jesus. Madly in love. The more I read the word, just fall in love with him. Never read the word before. Never read my Bible before. Didn't understand it and stuff. Now I understand because you have to read with the Holy Spirit. If you don't read with the Holy Spirit, then it's very hard to understand. So yeah, I got very close to him. And I started seeing all these Christians posting their hateful or their love videos about gays and how we're going to hell and how it's a sin and all this. And I'm like, Lord, if it, like, any time that happened, I would feel that like pulled away, like, well, this is me. But then like as I fell more in love with Jesus, I started being like, well, if this is not what you want from me, if you don't want me to be gay, if you if like take it away, times to take this away. I've asked so many times to take it away when I was younger, and he's always answered my prayers. Then Sarah and I started like talking about getting a house together, and I prayed. I was like, Father, like, if you want us to be together, if it's okay. Also, one time during a couple times during my prayer, I would ask him about my phone's dying. I would ask him about being gay because you're reading the Bible, you're hearing other Christians that I follow and stuff, and I just keep But he convicted me of so many sins, but he hasn't convicted me of being gay. It's only other Christians. So I basically said, take it away. If I don't want to hurt you, I don't want to upset you, I love you, and I choose you. And I said, if you don't want us to be together, don't let us get this house. Do not let us get this house. And your will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. I said it so many times. And he always, answers my prayers. So I said, don't let us get this house. Well, we ended up getting the house. Someone dropped through on the list. We ended up getting a very great price. And and then it was very expensive, so I started praying. I started praying and asking for help because we were gonna have to get a roommate. I really didn't want to get a roommate. I want to start a family and everything. Didn't want to get a roommate. It's very expensive. And I ended up getting a very good job, actually way better than the one that I was supposed to get. I forgot to add that. So we got the house, and I started freaking out about payments. So I prayed while I was praying. I spoke to my brother before in the morning, but I didn't say anything about house payments or anything like that, any stress. And my brother, he's not a believer. But while I was praying and just in worship and singing the Jehovah Jireh song, my provider, asking for help to pay for the house without a roommate, my brother calls me in the middle of my worship. And he offers me, well, my grandpa ended up totaling his car. My grandpa was too old to drive and everything, so he ended up totaling the car that was in my name and Nathan's name because I live down here by him in California. So he ended up getting $20,000 for the car, and because it was totaled, they just ended up being like, we'll give you $20,000, we'll keep the car, all that. And Nathan called me, and he has a lot of money, and he called me and he was just like, hey, our aunt has the check. If you want to go pick it up, you can have the money. You can have the money. You can have the $20,000. Just have it. Put it towards your house. I was just started bawling. After we got off the phone, well, I told him what I was doing in the moment. He was like, oh, I did not know you were, he kind of brushed it off like it's not God, but he just was like, I didn't know that you were worried about your payments, dog. I didn't know. And so then we got off the phone and I just dropped to my knees, just on my face, just bawling, thanking God. And then shortly after that, my job, my job ended up getting bought out by another company, and I started getting paid more. And then shortly after that, then they gave me a raise right before we got this house, because I was asking for help. And it was just all green lights to live in this house with my girlfriend.